Hi Charlie, welcome to the 28th day of my video polling experiment where I break down and analyze the LinkedIn poll that I posted last week and that closed this morning. And I've decided that to add even more context to these polls, I will not just be showing the poll on screen as it appears on LinkedIn, I will also be linking to it in the description box. So if you want to check it out, maybe leave a comment, evaluate the distribution for yourself, or get a closer look at some of the statistics I'll mention, the link will be in the description box below. Just wanted to get that out of the way. Now, I know that you are probably sick to death of hearing about this topic because I have milked it to the absolute limit for the past week, but last week's poll question was, drumroll please, do you enjoy watching Super Bowl ads? Yes, I know that at this point the Super Bowl has become a well-worn topic and it's almost like beating a dead horse, but again, when I posted this poll last Saturday, one day before the Super Bowl game on February 9th, 2025, it was still very much relevant for my audience, and it did get 84 votes, which is right in line with my average number of votes per poll, which is 80 to 85 on most occasions. So there were three answer choices: yes, no, and sometimes. The distribution ended up being like this. 50% of my voters do enjoy watching Super Bowl ads, 18% do not, and 32% enjoy watching those ads sometimes, which is kind of surprising considering how hated ads are on most social media platforms when you're trying to stream a movie on Netflix, or even when you're walking through a city center and you see all these flashy billboards that make your eyes hurt and that advertise products you don't really care about. Most of the time, ads are considered a massive nuisance, but in the context of the Super Bowl, when companies are pulling out all the stops to make their ads interesting and funny, and they're recruiting all these famous actors and comedians and athletes to star in those ads, then suddenly those ads become more like entertainment than bland commercial pitches from boring focus groups. So anyway, on to some statistics about these Super Bowl ads and the Super Bowl in general. About 70,000 people attend the Super Bowl each year on average. These are people who buy tickets, who show up in person, who go to the actual stadium. They're not just your couch potato fans who are watching from their homes or from a nearby bar. The New Orleans Caesars Superdome, which was where the 2025 Super Bowl was held, can hold up to 76.5 thousand fans. And this year for the Super Bowl game between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles, that Superdome was absolutely packed to the rafters with eager fans who were a bit disappointed at how tensionless, let's say, the game was, because by the first quarter it was glaringly obvious that the Philadelphia Eagles would win, and there was no comeback kid story from the Kansas City Chiefs, unfortunately. The most popular 2024 Super Bowl ad was Temu's Shop Like a Billionaire, which has got to be one of the most misleading slogans that I've ever heard of, because I am going to bet that the absolute overwhelming majority of Temu's users are not billionaires. They're not even millionaires. They don't even have six-figure net worths. So why are we encouraging them to have spending habits like a billionaire? I mean, billionaires can afford, for instance, a designer Louis Vuitton bag with absolutely no financial difficulty, but if an average person tries to do this whole shop like a billionaire thing and try to buy a Louis Vuitton bag for themselves, they're probably going to spend a few months worth of rent payments on that, and they're going to be in a deep financial hole that they're going to have a lot of trouble getting out of. So I just think that slogan is quite literally designed to foster some unhealthy and unsustainable spending habits so that Temu's bottom line benefits. But I digress. This is just a discussion about the Super Bowl ads. We're not necessarily delving into the personal finances of following what some of these advertisements say. Anyway, this Temu ad was mentioned 33,000 times on social media during the game, which means that it went a bit viral at this critical juncture point when a lot of people were genuinely interested in and invested in these Super Bowl ads. Temu spent a whopping $21 million on this ad, not just paying for the Super Bowl spot, but also paying to film it, paying all the actors to star in it, etc. It also spent an additional $15 million on promotions and giveaways related to this ad. For instance, discounts to encourage people to spend even more like a billionaire, even when they don't have the net worth to justify it. In 2022, Super Bowl advertisers earned an average of $4.60 for every $1 spent on Super Bowl ads. I'm not entirely sure how this return on investment is being calculated, but it does seem like if you can cough up the money and you put a decent amount of effort into your Super Bowl ad, you can get pretty good returns on investment in terms of increased brand awareness and increased sales, which increases your revenue and probably justifies that insane $8 million spend at this point. In 2025, a Super Bowl ad cost an average of $4.25 million. That is compared to almost double that in 2025, where a Super Bowl ad costs an average of $8 million. So in just 10 years, the price of a Super Bowl ad slot has almost doubled. I'm not entirely sure how that's possible, considering the ravages of inflation and all the economic uncertainty that we've experienced in the last decade with the COVID-19 pandemic and the 2022 economic downturn. But it does seem like those Super Bowl ad spots are still valuable because it's basically the only cultural moment in the entire United States where advertisers can reach a massive, broad audience and actually have their attention for those 30 seconds. Because if you're just posting ads on social media or putting up billboards, people have already been conditioned to kind of ignore them, to get on with their day and to not waste their mental energy and effort on trying to understand these ads for a company that they don't know about or care about. But at the Super Bowl, people are already primed to pay attention to these ads, to be kind of talking about which ads are cool and which ones bombed. So there is that kind of anticipation that is, I think, beneficial for advertisers, because for once, in a world where ads are now considered annoying, people are actually excited to see the ads at the Super Bowl, and I was definitely one of them, even though I admit I was a bit disappointed by the ads that I did see during the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl game. I don't think those particular advertisers had great returns on investments because of where that ad was positioned in the schedule. By the fourth quarter, it was very clear that it was a lost cause for the Kansas City Chiefs. People had gotten a little demoralized, and even Philadelphia Eagles fans were probably a bit bored because they knew their team was going to win. There was no suspense, no tension, etc. But anyway, that's my little recap and spiel about Super Bowl ads. As I promised before, I will be showing you the screen where these polls were posted on LinkedIn. Here we go. Ta-da! Do you enjoy watching Super Bowl ads, with my 3 answer choices? And because there was one additional vote yesterday on the 7th day, the percentages did change a little bit, and we now have 85 voters instead of the 84 voters that I stated earlier in the video. But I just wanted to show that these polls are absolutely legit. They are not necessarily representative of any particular population besides my LinkedIn connections who voted on this poll. But anyway, Charlie, thank you so much for listening to my very long spiel, and stay tuned for my 29th video poll analysis tomorrow. Bye, Charlie, and have a wonderful day.